Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video, we take a look at a new theory for Poppy Playtime where we explore the possibility that Experiment 1006, the prototype, may be controlling everything and responsible for every single death that occurred within the Playtime Co. factory. If you'd like a detailed breakdown of the prototype and a theory as to who I think it may be, as well as its connection to Poppy herself, then check out this video. I'll leave a link at the end of this one. But to summarise, since the release of Chapter 2, I have held the belief that the prototype may contain the soul, for lack of a better word, of Playtime founder Elliot Ludwig. His deceased daughter then taking on the role of Poppy, as she was the first experiment spearheaded by Elliot himself before his own passing in a desperate bid to resurrect her from the grave. This research then led to future child experiments conducted by Playtime Co. under the authority of Leif Pierre, the head of innovation at the company. These experiments took orphan children who would not be missed and paired them with companion toys who they bonded with during a series of trials. The very trials we take part in during Chapter 2. After bonding with their toys, the children would be killed, potentially using toxic gas, if the teaser for Chapter 3 is anything to go by, and in death could be resurrected as personalities within their assigned toy. This creating a living toy that would be the next breakthrough in technological innovation for the company, and ensure Playtime Co. retained that top spot as the world's #1 toy manufacturer. So long as the dark truth was never exposed, that is. Now this is just my current theory for now based on the limited evidence at hand. We'll have to see if anything changes with the release of Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. But what does all of this have to do with a prototype, Experiment 1006? Well, aside from the secret child experiments, Playtime Co. also started a project known as the Bigger Bodies Initiative. This was spearheaded by an employee named Harley Sawyer, who we first discover via a recording within multiplayer spin-off game Project Playtime. This is what Harley has to say.
My name is Harley Sawyer. I'm called the Doctor. When I look at this company we've built, I do not feel proud. Declining profits, failed experiments, people are constantly seeing things they shouldn't. How is that anything less than complete failure on our part? I'm here now with a solution. The Bigger Bodies Initiative. Giant toys. We can increase our workforce and simultaneously decrease the number of lawsuits and people on our payroll if the people we have working aren't people.
As you just heard, the Bigger Bodies Initiative was conceptualized as a way to cut costs, avoid lawsuits, and simultaneously increase the company workforce by creating giant toys that could carry out the more dangerous labor once assigned to actual humans. These giant toys are also suggested to contain the souls of workers at the Playtime Co. factory, which means they were also a form of human experimentation, much like the orphans and the toys they were paired with. The most notable evidence we have to back up this theory is a document found in Chapter 2, which states the subject name as Marie Payne. This note goes on to state that Mommy's hostility was quickly becoming problematic, but there may be a solution to put her in her place. The solution was to introduce Mommy Longlegs to the game station area where the orphan experimentations took place. It seems the children acted as a distraction which prevented Mommy from becoming violent and dangerous to adults. But where did these violent tendencies come from? Why did bigger body experiments such as Huggy and Mommy attack their creators? Well, as discussed in the previous theory video, I believe everything begins and ends with Experiment 1006, the prototype. And we have fresh information to corroborate this theory thanks to multiplayer spin-off Project Playtime and a handful of VHS-style teasers on the official Mob Games YouTube account. First, let's take a look at Project Playtime, which gives the most credence to this particular theory. During the monster tutorial, we take control of Huggy Wuggy himself, and while doing so are greeted by a sinister and mysterious voice who instructs us to do their bidding.
Get up. They are trying to build more toys, more like you. It has to be stopped. Are you ready? You will see the location of every puzzle pillar. Protect them. Kill everyone in sight. Tear them apart.
As you heard from these clips, it seems to suggest a third party is influencing these giant toys to engage in violent and malicious activity, attacking the staff of a Playtime Co. factory. The plot thickens when we look at one of the many random loading screens that pop up between matches. In this image we can see the prototype's hand eerily hanging over Mommy Longlegs, whose eyes are dilated. Strings running from Mommy to the hand are symbolic, representing the puppet master-like nature of Experiment 1006 and the control they exert over other experiments in the Bigger Bodies initiative. It seems as though the prototype used the other experiments as its playthings. While it was kept locked up, it gradually managed to transmit its brainwaves like a hive mind and influence the other bigger bodies to become hostile. This would explain why both Huggy and Mommy act friendly toward the protagonist to begin with, but gradually begin to look more and more unhinged and act more aggressively as their chapters continue. Eventually their pupils dilate as the prototype takes full control and instructs the toys to kill. It would also explain why they are docile around children. Elliot Ludwig loved children and it was his life's mission to bring joy to them, so it seems being around these children quelled the prototype's violent influence. Now moving over to VHS Teaser 1 titled Restricted Disappearance, and we can observe it takes place on the 18th of June 1992. The footage documents Huggy Wuggy's escape from the Playtime Co. factory and subsequent rampage in which he takes the lives of several Playtime Co. workers. At a certain point, Huggy stops running and is apprehended. One explanation for this would be that the prototype's mind control has a limited range, and once Huggy left that range, he defaulted to his docile state. VHS Teaser 2 is titled Restricted Relocation August 8th, 1995. In this tape we witness Kissy Missy being relocated from a storage unit to the playcare. As we watch the tape, haunting messages flash up with phrases such as "loosen the straps, binding the giant." Could this once again be the manipulative work of the prototype? During transportation, it seems Kissy's straps were loosened, this resulting in the gruesome death of the workers involved in her relocation. We see slash marks around Kissy, perhaps symbolising that, yes, this was the work of Experiment 1006, as through mind control it influenced her to attack. This also explains why Kissy Missy shows up briefly to help the protagonist in Chapter 2, but does not hang around to help further, knowing that prolonged exposure to a human will make her susceptible to the prototype's influence, much as we saw with Huggy Wuggy in Chapter 1. It seems the prototype cannot take instant control, giving these mascots a brief window before they give in to its murderous desires. Also during this tape we see a cryptic sentence written on the wall of the train tunnel. It states, "The hour of joy is at hand." Considering the prototype has so far been distinguished by one key feature, its skeletal hand, and Elliot Ludwig, the man we assume to be connected to the prototype, spent his life trying to bring joy to children around the world, well, things certainly seem to be falling into place. The term, "the hour of joy," also lines up nicely with the idea of a prototype playing with the bigger body mascots, unleashing them on the humans he so desperately despised for imprisoning and experimenting upon him, and corrupting Elliot Ludwig's legacy with these inhumane creations. The Hour of Joy was the prototype's revenge, as it controlled Huggy, Mommy, Kissy and the other experiments, influencing them to rampage through the factory on a killing spree. But why would the prototype have such control over these giant toys? Well, that answer can only be speculated on for now, but I believe the answer is fairly simple. You see, the prototype is referred to by a scientist in the game as Experiment 1006, this making it one of the earliest experiments to take place at the factory, and potentially the very first successful experiment from the Bigger Bodies initiative. In their pursuit to create the perfect subject, the scientists working on this prototype may have underestimated how dangerous these experiments could be if granted too much intelligence, free will, and power. This is especially true if Elliot Ludwig, the very mind behind decades of groundbreaking technological wonders, was used as the soul tethered within. We know from a recording uncovered in Chapter 2 that Experiment 1006 was highly intelligent.
The prototype seems to possess an unprecedented level of intelligence, beyond that of all other test subjects, as well as an alarming willingness to commit violence. Further suppression treatments will need to be enacted to ensure that no other experiments develop these qualities.
The final thing to consider as we wrap up this theory is what the prototype's endgame may be. Notice how after Mommy Longlegs becomes trapped in the waste disposal unit at the end of Chapter 2, Mommy Longlegs freaks out, but not because she is about to get ripped to shreds, but rather because she fears the prototype making her part of him. Because the prototype was just that, a prototype, it seems they were only ever built in the skeletal form we partially witness here. They never had a proper body like the other bigger body experiments. And so it seems once a toy has died, their body is located by the prototype and collected up, with a plan to assimilate them into its own form. A Frankenstein-like parasite, who after playing with the bigger body toys, eventually splices them into its very own body. It seems the prototype's endgame may be to reach Poppy Playtime herself, another powerful experiment kept under lock and key. In fact, if Poppy is Elliot's daughter, and Elliot is now trapped inside the prototype, then this would explain why Poppy was kept locked inside her case. A measure put in place to avoid the prototype, her father, from influencing her mind. Poppy may be more dangerous than anybody could possibly imagine, like a grenade ready to explode if the pin were just pulled, and the prototype the only thing able to pull this proverbial pin. It seems Poppy wishes to use the protagonist to help her stop Experiment 1006 and save her father from this corrupt form. Let's just hope she keeps her sanity long enough for us to complete this mission and doesn't fall prey to the prototype's insidious influence.
Do you know how long I've been stuck in that case? Well, too long. I had so much time to think and reflect. Time to figure out exactly what I would do when free. We'll set things right. Terrible things have happened. But I know that whatever I need you to do, you're capable.
And with that, we've come to the end of today's video and a look at a new theory for Poppy Playtime. I hope you found this video both entertaining and informative, and if you did, remember to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.